What's up, Cancer, Peace, Light, and Love? I'm bringing a divine oracle message for April 2023. I have meditated on your energy. I have called on the spirit team to work for our highest and greatest good. We're going to see what message spirit has for us. The first thing that's coming out, that's jumping out, spirit wants us to really deal with is all about us showing up for ourselves, stepping into our power, being courageous. And this is all those things that we need to do in order to make things really pop for us in life. Huh? One of the challenges that we face, though, is that we don't want to put the work in. We see that it's a struggle, it's continuation that's going on out here, right? And we got to continuously be about the business of craftsmanship. When we start moving more into this space where we start really getting our mind right and we start trusting in the process that we've been putting this work in, that we've been doing the things that we need to do, this is when we start really seeing ourselves start stepping up and showing out. And we start moving into this energy where we're far more courageous in our lives. And we start speaking up for ourselves, and we start speaking up for causes that we hold near and dear in our heart. Because this is a time for us to really be in tune with where our North Star is, what we truly value out here in life, Cancer. This is your time to shine and really start being courageous and speaking truth to power out here. It is time right now. And there's work that's going to need to be done out here. Like, we can't just sit on our couch and hide out, flipping through TikTok, social media, whatever it is that we do, watching forensic files, whatever it is that you do in your spare time, and expect for things to take place. We got to really start getting out here, putting the work in, and start cultivating that thing. And when we do that, when we start really putting that work in, when we really start showing up courageously and everything, this is a time where you start noticing those artificial connections that you got that's all around you, they start to fall by the wayside. See, when this Three of Cup energy, it comes through, this is all about our relationships, how we celebrating out here in these streets, right? But when you doing your own thing, you speaking your truth, you living your truth, you being courageous and everything. See, sometimes that irritates folks out here in these streets. They don't want to see that going down. Why is that? Probably because they ain't feeling courageous enough to step into their power and do what it is that they do. They don't want to put the work in. So they got something to say about you. And what spirit wants you to know is that you can't get yourself concerned with the gossip out here, the naysayers. Because see, when this Three of Cups card is show up reverse, this is where it's really speaking to that energy of those folks that's coming around to be a player hater. You know what I'm saying? They're sitting up here skinning and grinning. That key energy, right? That gossiping energy, that two-faced type of vibration, right? This is what you start to notice sometimes, but don't think that that's a bad thing. It is a good thing, because this is going to separate the reals from the not so much, huh? And when you do that, then you start to be able to increase your discernment, right? You are not so much easily deceived. You start seeing folks like that a mile away. It don't work like that no more, because when you start showing up for yourself and you start doing that work and you start noticing that there's some folks that's not going to be feeling that too much, there's also going to be folks that is feeling that. And you going to be able to know the difference between the two. There will be no more fakeness, because your discernment is going to be in tune all the way in key. Why am I telling you all of these things? Because spirit is letting us know in your relationship sector, in that whole energy of your relationships throughout this month, reconciliation is on the horizon. See, someone from the past is returning to your life. Now, sometimes when we look at these past relationships, we recognize one thing. Folks is in the past for a particular reason. And if that's what it is, then that's what it is. However, sometimes we get into these connections where we had incompletion in those relationships. Like these are some folks, you know, you was working with them and then they get transferred and you don't hear from them for a while, or you lose contact, or somebody falls off or something like that happens. And you really wish that you would have traded information with these cats. I know in the age of social media, it's highly unlikely, but it still happens from time to time, right? And when you start making these connections with folks, or people evolve even, you know, so spirit is showing me some evolution that's starting to rise up in some folks, right? And people change, seasons change, feelings change, right? And when people start shifting into a whole different vibration, it starts to look different. And now the connection is good for where it is now. But let's not talk about, we ain't talking about finding that old ex that dogged you out and saying he done changed now. He said he real sorry. I'm taking him back. We ain't talking about that one, Cancer. We ain't talking about that one. She ain't gonna mess with him no more. We good now. We ain't talking about that, Cancer. It's not that trip. We know you'll hold on to that. So we ain't talking about that. Don't go back there, because it's hard for you to let go of that shit on the emotional level, right? You sit around and spend on that for a very long time. We ain't going back there. We talking about those relationships that ended on a good note, where you get to be reconnected and reconciled, and you can make some meaningful connections that's in your life, right? Because at the end of the day, your true purpose in this world, Cancer, is to heal. You had a spiritual gift of healing and a desire to share that with other folks out here. See, the sign of Cancer is ruled by the moon, and the moon is all about what nurtures us. And when you start getting in tune with those things that nurture you, you start to gravitate more towards situations that make you feel elevated. This is what happens when you get in tune with the star player within yourself, when you start really being courageous and showing up for yourself, and you start really doing the work and cultivating all of the things that you want to manifest in this world. So then when you start noticing that relationships that should be celebrating, you ain't doing that so much, that it don't really mean as much, because you understand at the end of the day that those folks was eliminating themselves because their time was up with you. Rejection is protection. Understand. The seahorse came through. All about you being able to check out those opportunities for success. All about you stepping into your power. The seahorse is coming through, letting you know you need to watch and wait. Watch what it do. But you got to be courageous enough to step into your power and really start making it happen. You came in this world to heal on one level or the other. Never forget that. That's what the Cancer energy is all about. Peace and light. Peace and love.